Hello well-wishers and welcome to my channel Aspiring Minds. In today's video, we are going to discuss Nissim Ezekiel's poem Poet Lover Birdwatcher. So grab your virtual seats and let's begin. Coming back to Nissim Ezekiel, he was an Indian Jewish poet, a playwright, editor and an art critic. He was a prominent figure in the post-colonial Indian literature and is known for his wit, humor and observations on the human condition, and that is exactly what we are going to see in our poem today, that what are the complex scenarios of urban life and how ordinary individuals face challenges in the rapidly changing society. Poet Lover Birdwatcher. Now this poem explores the parallel between observing birds, because the word poet is there in the title. Then we have the next word lover, so it wants us to understand women. And thirdly, bird watcher, that is the art of writing poetry. So the poem highlights basically the virtues or the qualities of patience, observation and sensitivity required in order to pursue poetry, love and bird watching. Now the poet draws a comparison between the patient, attentive personality required in bird watching and the need for patience and understanding in relationships as well as in the process of artistic creation, in this case poetry. Now overall this poem is divided into only 2 stanzas, but so that we can understand the poem better, I've divided it into 4 parts in total. So let us now discuss the line by line meaning of the poem. To force the pace and never to be still is not the way of those who study birds or women. The best poets wait for words. The hunt is not an exercise of will but patient love relaxing on a hill. So in these opening lines, the poet asserts that rushing and being impatient are not qualities which will help in studying birds or understanding women or even crafting poetry. He emphasizes the importance of patience and stillness in these aspects or in these tasks. The comparison between studying birds, understanding women and writing poetry suggests that all 3 require a similar approach. That is, 1 is patience, 2nd is observation, and 3rd is being able to be receptive to what is happening in all these 3 scenarios. The hunt for words and understanding is not driven by force or willpower, that if you put your mind to it you will be able to understand women or be able to watch birds. No, but it requires patience, being relaxed. So in a gentle and patient manner, you need to surrender in all these 3 scenarios. To note the movement of a timid wing until the one who knows that she is loved no longer waits but risks surrendering. In this, poet finds his moral proved who never spoke before his spirit moved. So here the poet highlights the importance of keen observation in both bird watching and in relationships. Just as a bird watcher patiently notes even the slightest movement of a bird's wing, a lover also must patiently wait and observe until the beloved feels secure enough to be able to surrender to love. So the poet suggests that true poets never speak until their spirits are moved, until something really touches them within. Only then are they going to compose poetry. So it indicates that genuine poetry arises from deep, authentic emotion and inspiration rather than simply, writing words for the sake of poems. But in today's times, how commercial life has become that we hardly put in a thought. Genuineness is taking a back seat in today's times because people want to earn money and quick money, and in doing that the system that they follow is completely horrible in the sense that they do not realize that what could be the impact of their actions on people. The slow movement seems somehow to say much more. To watch the rarer birds, you have to go along deserted lanes and where the rivers flow in silence near the source or by a shore. So, in this stanza, the poet reflects on the importance of slow movements required in birdwatching and also in life. The slow, patient observation of rare or unique birds requires the person to go into remote, quiet places where one can find silence and solitude. Similarly, to understand the depths of women's life and poetry, it requires the person to make a journey inward, within, away from the noise, the distractions of the world. The poet suggests that by embracing silence and solitude, one can uncover the deeper truths and meaning. So you see how it is all like a system you need to follow in order to be able to understand all these three aspects mentioned in the title of the poem. Ultimately, it requires patience, silence, solitude. Remote and thorny like the heart's dark floor, and there the women slowly turn around. Not only flesh and bone, but myths of light with darkness at the core, and sense is found. But poets lost in crooked, restless flight, the deaf can hear, the blind recover sight. So the poet compares the complex nature of women and thorny places, suggesting that understanding women requires navigating through different layers of complexity and darkness. In the poem, women are depicted as embodying both myths of light and darkness, symbolizing the contradictions and complexities of human nature. Here he is becoming more gender biased, but if you see the personality of a human being, it is not always going to be all light or all darkness, that is all good and all bad. It is going to be a mix of that. Just that in case of women, according to the poet, it is becoming a little more complex here. Now, despite the challenges, the poet suggests that by patiently observing and understanding women, one can find deep meaning and gain an insight about the women. In the final lines of the poem, he contrasts the patient, attentive personality required for understanding with the restless, flighty nature of some poets. He suggests that the true poets, like skilled birdwatchers, possess the ability to understand truths. Through their poetry, the deaf can hear and the blind can see, implying that if someone writes true and genuine poetry, it has the power to awaken the senses of even those whose senses are otherwise challenged. So you can understand how deep are the final lines of the poem. So we can understand the major themes of the poem on these levels. Firstly, the poem emphasizes how patience and being attentive is very important in all three aspects, that is in bird watching, understanding women, and in crafting poetry. Secondly, the poet says that true understanding and connection in relationships and poetry is established from a place of surrender. When you are authentic, that is when you will be able to deeply connect on an emotional level with the person. And the poem explores the complexities and contradictions of human nature. Human beings are never simple. Mostly you will see human beings as being complex, but it is the understanding which is required in order to be able to understand why a human being is behaving a certain way. So again, understanding and observation comes here. So we see how this poem shows that you, through poetry, have the power to bring out the truths, to awaken senses of people, and you can transcend the ordinary perception, the ordinary understanding. So that's it from this video. I hope you liked it. Do hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more such future updates. Thank you for watching. Bye.